Hey, Stewart's Chapel, Don Pierson and Don Counts behind the camera, and this is Tuesday, September 20th, devotion as we continue to look at burden as God teaches us from His Scripture. We're going to be in Matthew chapter 23. Now, those of you that are preachers out there will know exactly, oh my goodness, I know that chapter. Matthew 23, well-known chapter. Not a good chapter by most people, but it is well known. It is filled with, it is the woe chapter, W-O-E chapter. It's filled with woes and warnings. And then Luke 11, verse 46, and Luke 11 also has a continuation of that same kind of warning. However, in Luke 11, you also find the Lord's Supper. I mean, not Lord's Supper, the Lord's Prayer, which is an interesting place for it. Anyway, I'm going to be in Matthew chapter 23, where the focus verse is verse 4. I'm going to start with verse 1. This is, because in both sections of Scripture, this is a warning. This is a warning about those who would put a burden on you that God does not intend for you to carry. And so this is a warning. And so I've entitled this devotion, Beware of Those Who Seek to Burden You. Beware of those who seek to burden you. So let's start in verse 1 of chapter 23 of Matthew. Then Jesus spoke to the multitudes and to His disciples, saying, The scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. Isn't that interesting? In a little bit, and I can't remember whether it's tomorrow or in a few days, we're going to talk about what it means to sit in Moses' seat. Therefore, whatever they tell you to observe, that observe and do. But do not do according to their works, for they say and do not do. For they bind, they wrap you down, they tie you up with heavy burdens, hard to bear, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. Now let me ask you, of the Greek words that we've been looking at in relationship to burdens, which one do you think this is? At first, I thought it might be one of the katas or bardos, but it's not. This Greek word is the same Greek word that Jesus used yesterday to talk about the burden that He would give, that He would pass on. Phortion. Phortion, if you remember from yesterday, was a burden that comes because of an assignment, a calling, or a mission, or a task. In Jesus' sense, His burden is light. It is not heavy. He carries it with us. But this phortion is heavy, and it's strapped to us. It's tied to it. They put it on you. You can't get rid of it. And it's coming from somewhere else. They bind that phortion. They give you a calling or an assignment, one that they themselves won't even put a finger to, Jesus says. In other words, they're not even going to try and share it. They have no business giving it to you, but they put it upon you. Luke 11, verse 46. Woe, Jesus said, Woe to you also, lawyers or scribes, for you load men with burdens hard to bear, and you yourselves do not touch the burdens with one of your fingers. And again, this burden there is phortion. In fact, it's basically the same story, same event where these guys have a form of religion that without any power, and they're trying to make the same kind of people. So what kind of task, what kind of responsibility or mission are the Pharisees and the scribes giving to the people? Well, it's all about how you can gain favor with God. It's all about how you can be acceptable to God. In other words, it's all about what you need to do in order to be saved. And so their legalistic, self-righteous list of stuff that you need to do just goes on and on and on. They reject Jesus as the only way. Therefore, they are forced to create their own way. They add to it more and more laws. And people just take them on. Jesus is not enough. I have to do. I have to do. I have to do. Jesus says, these are heavy burdens that are hard to bear, that are placed on men's shoulders. Remember what I said? Jesus said, come unto me, all you who are heavy laden. Jesus is inviting those that men like the Pharisees and scribes have given them loads that they can't bear. And Jesus replaces their portion, their assignment, their mission, with His mission, with His calling. And one portion is replaced with another. One is burdensome, impossible to achieve. The other one is light and easy. And not only is it achievable, it's achievable because God walks with us with it. Be careful of adding to what Jesus has done. Be careful of those who would call you to do in order to be acceptable or to gain your salvation. Beware of those. They're not going to get in either, no matter if they do lift their finger to do it. They're not going to get in either. If you follow their path, you will find it is a very wide path. The path to destruction is not just a path of liberalism without any restriction. The path to destruction is also a path of works that declares that the work of Christ is insufficient. Listen to me. The work of Christ is more than sufficient. Love you, Stewart's Chapel.